The warlord's boots hit the metal floor like hammers. Every step rang across the station's main hall. Guards stood tall behind him, helmets shining cold. He did not look left or right. He looked only at the human. "A primitive animal," Warlord Keth said. His voice was smooth and sharp. "That is what you are." The human did not answer. His name was Arav Khan. He wore a simple work jacket stained with oil and dust. His hands were steady. His eyes were calm. He stood near a service panel with wires like tangled vines and heat waves breathing from the wall. He took one slow breath, then opened his small bag. Inside the bag, tape, a coil of cable, a multi-tool with dull scratches, a tiny light, a half-empty bottle of water, 2 metal clips, and a folded cloth. No fancy gear, no soldier's gun, only the simple tools of a builder. The station's AI spoke from the ceiling with a clear, flat voice. "Warning, reactor breach in 12 minutes. All hands evacuate to safe zones." People started to panic. Some grabbed their children. Some ran toward the wrong doors. 2 mechanics argued about the coolant pumps. A medic dropped a case of bandages, then tried to pick them up with shaking hands. Arav clicked the tiny light to his collar. The beam was thin, but it was enough. He stepped to the service panel and touched the wall. The metal was hot, too hot. He pulled back his hand and nodded once to himself. Keth watched with a small smile. "You will die quickly," he said. "Your tools are toys." Arav still did not answer. Instead, he raised his voice, calm and low, and spoke to the crowd. "We do not need perfect tools," he said. "We need steady hands." People kept moving, but some turned to listen. His voice was not loud, but it carried a kind of gravity. It made people stop. It made people breathe. "You, orange jacket," Arav said, pointing to a dock worker. "Hold this cable. Do not let it touch metal." "You, medic," he said to the woman with the dropped case. "Count out loud from 1 to 60 when I tell you. Slow and steady." "You," he said to a tall alien pilot with bright eyes, Tala, "come with me. You will read the pressure gauge when I say now." Tala blinked. "I am a pilot, not— You can read numbers," Arav said. "That is enough." The station shook. Lights flickered. A hot wind rushed along the corridor like the breath of a furnace. Someone screamed in the distance. The AI spoke again, colder this time. "Warning! Coolant flow unstable. Evacuate." Arav took the water bottle and pushed a thin tube through the cap with the multi-tool. He taped the tube to the bottle. He taped the bottle to the pipe. He let a few drops run, then clamped the tube with a metal clip. The water pushed back against the pipe and made a small bubble. He watched the bubble rise and stop. Tala stared. "You made a gauge from a bottle." "Good enough," Arav said. "When the bubble races, pressure is wrong. When it barely moves, pressure is dead. Tell me what you see when I say now." Keth laughed. "Look at him," he told his guards. "He makes toys while the world burns." Arav opened the panel. Heat hit his face, but he did not flinch. Inside were red wires, blue wires, a corroded valve wheel, and a fuse box with 2 blown fuses. He touched the fuse box with the back of his hand to feel the warmth. Too hot. He counted under his breath. 1, 2, 3. He looked at Tala. "Now." "The bubble is slow," she said. "Very slow. Flow is blocked," Arav said. "Pump is fighting nothing. We will give it a path." He pulled the cable from his bag and stripped the end with the multi-tool. He wrapped the wire in cloth, then soaked the cloth with the last of the water. He pushed the wrapped wire against the hot pipe to hear a faint hiss. "That buys us a minute," he said. "You, orange jacket, lift the panel cover when I say lift. Medic, when I say count, you count to 60. "Clear?" They nodded. Their hands still shook, but their eyes were steady now. Keth stepped closer. "I will enjoy your failure," he said softly. "I like to watch hope die." Arav turned his head just enough to look at him. His face was calm. "You can watch," he said, "but do not touch anything." He traced the lines with his finger, mapping the system in his mind. In, out, up, down. He saw the path like a river with stones in the way. He saw which stone to move first. "Lift," he said. Orange jacket lifted the cover. Hot air spilled out. The medic caught her breath. "Count," Arav said. 1, 2, 3, the medic began. Her voice was small but even. Arav reached into the fuse box with the multi-tool and a clip. He bridged 2 contacts for 1 heartbeat, then broke the bridge. Sparks snapped. The lights flickered, returned, and dimmed again. "Now," he told Tala. "The bubble jumped," Tala said. Then it slowed. "It is not dead." "Good," Arav said. "We are close." Keth opened his mouth to speak again. The station went black. Every light died at once. Only the thin beam on Arav's collar remained, a small circle of white in a sea of dark. The AI's voice came back, no longer calm. "Emergency power offline." Coolant loop blocked. The floor trembled under their feet. And then the alarms began to scream. Dark, total dark. Only the small light on Arav's collar drew a thin white circle on the floor. The crowd held its breath. The alarms cut through the black like knives. Warlord Keth smiled in the shadows. "Primitive," he said again, soft and pleased. Arav did not look at him. He placed 1 palm flat on the floor, grating. He felt the tremble. He listened to the metal the way a doctor listens to a chest. The vibration was wrong, sharp, choking, like a blocked throat. "Tala," he said. "Stay by the gauge. Speak only the bubble. Slow, fast, still, say the word." Tala nodded. "Understood." "Orange jacket," Arav said. "Hold the cover steady. If it drops, we all burn." The dock worker swallowed. "I will not drop it." "Medic," Arav said, calm and firm. "Breathe for me. In 4, out 4. Count for the room." The medic began. "In 1, 2, 3, 4. Out 1, 2, 3, 4. People copied her without thinking. Panic loosened its grip by a finger. Arav took the tape from his bag. He tore 3 strips with his teeth and stuck them to his forearm like silver leaves. He looped a thin cable around his wrist so he could never drop it. He clipped the multi-tool to a belt loop so it would not fall into the hot dark. Tala's voice from the pipe. "Bubble." "Still, block is complete," Arav said. "We give the flow a new path." He opened a lower service hatch. Heat rolled out like a living thing. The skin on his face stung. He did not pull back. He fed the cable through the hatch until it snagged on something unseen. Keth stepped closer, a shadow with teeth. "Your toy line will melt," he said. Arav's voice stayed flat. "Maybe, then I will use another." He tugged the cable once. It fought him. He smiled, small and tired. "Hello, blockage." He took the water bottle gauge from Tala and shook it. Tiny air hissed along the tube. He pinned the tube to the metal with tape and watched. The bubble did not move. Good. The reading was honest. He pushed the cable harder. It moved a breath. Not much. "Not enough. Orange jacket," Arav said. "I need weight." "Your weight?" The dock worker blinked. "My weight?" "Sit on the hatch, not on my hands," Arav said. "When I say lean, you lean. When I say stop, you freeze." The dock worker did as told. Fear and trust mixed in his face. Arav wrapped the cable around a rusted handle and made a crude pulley. Over, under, pull, lock. He used the tape on his arm as anchor points. He turned junk into a tool. He turned a tool into a plan. "Lean," he said. The dock worker leaned. The cable bit. Something inside scraped. Tala. "Bubble. Tiny move. Very tiny." "Good," Arav said. "Again, lean." The second pull was harder. The grating sang. Something shifted with a dull, wet thud. The AI crackled back to life in broken pieces. "Cool out, loop, obstruct, pa, tial, Tala." "Bubble, slow." "Flow returns," Arav said. "Not enough," Keth clicked his tongue. "You fight the station with string," he said. "The station will win." Arav turned his head toward the dark where Keth stood. "Sir," he said, polite as a teacher, "if you must talk, talk soft." "People are working." Silence followed. "Not respect, not yet, just surprise." Arav slid his arm deeper into the hatch, skin to hot steel, searching with his fingertips. He touched grit, scale, then something smooth. Smooth and square. Not a pipe. Not a valve. He froze. The medic kept counting. The crowd kept breathing. The alarms kept screaming like wolves who loved the sound of fear. Arav pressed the smooth shape with his thumb and felt the pattern. 2 ridges, 1 notch, a seam. He knew that shape. Not from manuals. From stories told in low voices by tired soldiers who visited repair bays to rest and forget. A charge. Not big. Big enough. He did not pull his hand back. He did not shout. He spoke in a voice aimed at one person only. Tala. Tala, he said softly. I will ask you a question. You will answer with only yes or no. Tala moved closer, eyes sharp. Yes. Do you see any fine black dust on the floor near the hatch? Tala moved the tiny collar light down. Yes. Do you smell bitter metal? Like old coins and hot rain? She sniffed. Yes. Keth, Arav said louder now, step away from this hatch. 5 steps. Keth did not move. He smiled even wider. Why? Because, Arav said, the station was not only unlucky, it was helped. The word hung in the air. Helped. The crowd understood. Helped to break. Helped to burn. Keth's guards shifted. Fingers tightened on weapons. The medic's counting jittered, then found its path again. In 1, 2, 3, 4. Arav slid the multi-tool down to his wrist and worked by touch alone. He hooked under the seam he had felt. He lifted, gentle as lifting a sleeping child's hand. A small panel flipped open inside the hatch. Heat licked his skin. Tala's voice was a thread. Bubble. Faster now. Not safe. Not safe. Almost, Arav said. Almost. He saw it with his fingers. A wire coated in chalky dust, a simple pressure switch, a dumb little brain waiting to be satisfied. He reached for the bottle tube, pinched it, let a drop of water touch his burned skin, and pressed the coolness against the wire to keep it from snapping. Orange jacket, he said. Do not breathe. Arav lifted the wire from its home. Click. A red light inside the hatch woke up. Bright as a fresh wound. Tala sucked in a breath. Armed, she whispered. The red light blinked once, then twice, then faster. The red light blinked faster. Fast like a heartbeat in fear. Arav kept his hand inside the burning hatch. He did not shake. He did not breathe. Tala, he said, voice calm and flat. Hold the light steady. If my shadow moves, tell me. I will, Tala said. Her hands were steady now. Medic, Arav said. New job. Count from 5 down to 1. Slow, clear and slow. The medic swallowed. 5, 4, 3. Keth's smile grew. Primitive man meets real power, he said softly. Beautiful. Arav felt the device with his fingertips again. He found the pressure switch, the chalky wire, the dumb little brain. He mapped it in his head like a tiny city of danger. One wrong street and everything ends. Orange jacket, he said. Lean no more. Freeze. The dock worker froze. The red light answered with a harsher blink. The hatch walls ticked as heat pushed at the metal. The station groaned around them like an animal in pain. 3, the medic said. Arav took the folded cloth from his bag with his free hand and bit one edge to tear it. He wet the strip with the last drops from the bottle tube. He slid the damp cloth around the wire sleeve to cool it and stop any spark. He pinched the sleeve with the multi-tool's flat nose, just enough to hold, not enough to cut. 2. Tala, Arav said. Move the light lower. Shadow is wrong. Tala moved it. The tiny light drew a sharp white line across the inner parts. 1. Arav pulled. The wire slid free without breaking. Silence. Even the alarms seemed to hold their scream for one beat. The red light died. The crowd exhaled as one body. Some people cried without sound. The medic made a small laugh that was half a sob. Tala's shoulders dropped, then squared again. The AI's voice came thin but clear. Explosive device disarmed. Coolant path obstruction remains. Arav drew his hand out of the hatch. His skin was red, his fingers shaking now that the danger had passed. He wrapped his palm with the remaining cloth and nodded once to Tala. Good work. Tala nodded back, fast. Respect now, open and unhidden. Keth's smile did not leave, but it changed. It held teeth and a little hate. Lucky guess, he said. Arav turned to him. Not luck, he said. Pattern. He raised his wrapped hand and pointed around. One device here means more somewhere else. A pattern means a plan, and a plan means a planner. Eyes in the crowd turned to Keth and his guards. Not yet open anger, but questions. Heavy questions. Keth spread his hands like a man of peace. I came to help Order, he said. Order dislikes panic. A siren wailed down the hall. Metal doors along the corridor began to slide shut, one after another. Heavy bulkheads. Thick. Final. Their edges threw long knives of shadow across the floor. The AI spoke again. Security lockdown triggered. All non-essential sections sealed. Arav's head turned. Who triggered lockdown? Command override, the AI said. Source. Authority code Keth Alpha. The hall went very still. Keth tilted his head. A normal safety action, he said, to contain risk. Tala's eyes narrowed. Contain who? The first bulkhead slammed down between them and the outer docks. A second door began to drop behind the reactor corridor. People ran toward the shrinking gap. A child fell. Two hands pulled the child through just before the steel kissed the floor. Arav stepped to the service panel again. He drew a quick map on the dust with one finger. Listen, he said. We cannot run all at once. We make a path. A safe path, he drew 3 arrows. Team 1, help refugees to Bay 2. Team 2, hold this corridor and keep it clear. Team 3 stays with me. Who is Team 3? Tala asked. You orange jacket medic, Arav said. And anyone who can count without fear. A few hands went up. Not many. Enough. Keth's guards took a step forward. Their armor hummed. Their rifles clicked. Keth lifted one finger. The guard stopped. He wanted to watch. Arav opened a higher panel above the hatch. He checked the old valve wheel, corroded, frozen. He hit it with his palm. It moved a fraction, then stuck like a bad memory. Tala, he said, we need a little power. Not full. A bone. Not the whole body. Tala glanced at the dead lights and then at the floor map Arav had drawn. From the shuttle bay back up, she said. I can pull a thread. Do it, Arav said. Orange jacket, brace this wheel. Medic, count our turns. The medic wiped her eyes and lifted her chin. Ready. Tala ran to a wall console and pulled the cover with one hard wrench. Inside, fiber and copper waited like tangled nerve. She stripped one line, then another, then linked them with a small metal pin from her pilot jacket. Her hands were a blur. Sparks kissed her fingers. A whisper of life walked along the corridor. Dim strips on the floor glowed like moonlight underwater. Arav gripped the valve. On 3, he said. 1, 2, 3, he turned. Orange jacket pushed. The valve screamed, metal on stone. It shifted a quarter turn. Count, Arav said. 1, 2, 3, the medic said. Steady now. The AI spoke, clipped but hopeful. Coolant flow, rising, obstruction, partial. The crowd felt it as a cool breath, a small wind from nowhere. Shoulders lowered. Eyes lost a bit of wild. Keth watched with cool hate. He lifted his wrist console and tapped a command. A klaxon howled, deeper and nearer. The heavy door between Arav's team and the central shaft began to drop. Tala spun. He is sealing us in! Arav did not stop turning the valve. Hold the wheel, he said. Do not let it slide back. Orange jacket locked his shoulder and groaned. I have it! Arav ran to the dropping door. He slid on his knees and threw his wrapped hand into the narrowing gap. Pain flashed white. He thrust the multi-tool into the door track and cranked it wide. The door bit the tool and halted for a heartbeat, then pushed again. Wedge! Arav shouted. Tala ripped a metal strut from a broken crate and dived. She shoved it into the gap beside the tool. The door hit the strut and screamed, metal crying against metal. It stopped with a gap the size of a human chest. Civilians stared, afraid to move. Through, Arav yelled. Single file. No pushing! Go, they went. One by one. Fast. Smooth. A line of life. Keth lifted his wrist again. Arav saw him. He stepped between Keth and the console, face calm, eyes bright. Do not touch that, Arav said. Keth smiled without humor. Why? Because there is another device, Arav said. I can smell it now, not here. In the central shaft. If that door closes, we will not reach it. Keth's eyes flicked once. Surprise, fast and sharp, Tala saw it. The crowd saw it. The truth stepped into the light and stood there in silence. The AI spoke, and every word hit like a hammer. Alert. Secondary charge detected in central shaft. Timer active. A low, deep thumping began somewhere below their feet. Every thump was closer. Tala grabbed Arav's arm. "How much time?" The AI answered, 180 seconds, 3 minutes. Arav looked at the narrow gap. At the line of people, at the valve still held by Orange Jacket, at Tala's burned fingers, at Keth's cold smile. He took a breath that tasted like metal and heat. "Tala," he said, "with me." He pointed into the dark beyond the stuck door. "We go now." The floor shook with a new, ugly sound, like a giant beast waking in the station's bones. The gap groaned, the strut bent, and somewhere below, the second bomb began to laugh. The door gap groaned. The metal strut bent like a soft bone. Arav slid through first. Tala followed, shoulders tight, eyes bright. Heat hit their faces like a wall. The air tasted of metal and ash. Behind them, Orange Jacket held the valve with locked arms. The medic kept the counting breath going for the crowd. "In, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out, 1, 2, 3, 4. The corridor to the central shaft was long and narrow. The floor shook with a slow, heavy beat. Bomb beat. Below their feet. "Tala," Arav said, "how many steps from here to the shaft door?" She glanced down the hall. "Maybe 200. "Maybe less. Not maybe," he said. "Count. We make the world into numbers." They ran. The dim floor strips pulsed like weak stars. Keth's guards watched from the other side of the half-closed bulkhead, unsure, guns low, orders not yet given. Keth leaned on the wall, smiling that small knife smile. Tala counted, firm and fast. 1, 2, 3. Arav counted too, but different things. The shake rate, the light flicker, the time between each breath of hot air that pushed up from the grates. "Listen," he said. "The bomb has a rhythm. Every 6 shakes, the beat is longer. That means a slow sensor check. A blind blink, we use it." "How?" Tala said. "We pass the fan." They reached a mesh door with a spinning safety fan behind it. The fan blades were huge. Each blade was a fast silver scythe in the half-light. A sensor watched the door. "Touch the door, fan speeds up." "Let go, fan sleeps." Someone had locked it this way to stop heroes from being heroes. Arav dropped to one knee and pressed 2 fingers to the grate. He felt the shakes come up through metal and muscle. He closed his eyes. "Count with me," he said. 3, 4, 5, Tala said. The floor shuddered, longer, deeper on 6. "That's the blink," Arav said. "Every 6. We open on the blink." He pulled the multi-tool. He bent a small loop from the wire in his bag and fed it into the door sensor, but not enough to trip the alarm. He waited for the 5th shake. "Ready," he said. On 6. The 5th tremor rolled. The 6th came, longer, slower. Now, he popped the sensor cap, stabbed the loop in, and cut the power line for half a second. The fan coughed like a giant choking. The blades slowed. "Go," he said. Tala slid through the gap, quick as a thought. Arav followed and shoved the sensor cap back. The fan roared awake behind them, hungry and late. They ran on. The corridor opened into the central shaft, a tall, round space like the inside of a black tower. Catwalks circled the empty air. Below, far below, red heat glowed like an angry heart. The second bomb waited somewhere down there, where the coolant pipes met the old manual levers. Arav and Tala stood on the first catwalk. The metal was hot through their boots. The vertical drop made the stomach rise. Pipes hummed. Steam hissed. "Where is it?" Tala asked. Arav looked, not with fear, but with shape and pattern. He traced the pipes with his eyes. In, out, up, down, like the map he had drawn on the dusty floor. He pointed. "There," he said. "Third ring down. On the junction box with the yellow stripe." "How do you know?" "Because the first bomb was near an access hatch. Easy for a proud man with a soft plan. The second needs heat and a trigger. That stripe marks a manual override. If the bomb stops us from reaching it, the core runs wild." The AI's voice broke in, thin and brave. "Timer, 120 seconds. 2 minutes, Tala swallowed. "The ladder?" They looked. The ladder was there and not there. Sections were melted to smooth curves. Gaps waited like empty teeth. To climb was to fall. "No ladder," Arav said. "We walk. Walk where?" Arav pointed to a narrow maintenance beam that crossed the shaft like a thin gray line. It was no wider than a hand. No rail, only air. Only heat, only death if you forget to breathe. Tala stared. That is not a path. It is now, Arav said. We make paths. He pulled tape from his bag and tore it into strips with his teeth. He wrapped his fingers so sweat would not steal his grip. He handed strips to Tala. She did the same. They crouched, tested the beam with one foot. Do not look down, Arav said. Pick a point. Walk to the point. Then pick another point. Breathe with the step. What if I fall? Tala asked. You won't, Arav said. Because you will listen. Step, breathe, count. He tapped the beam with the multi-tool. I give us a metronome, he said. Tap, tap, tap. Slow and exact. They stepped onto the beam. Tala put one foot in front of the other, eyes on the far bolt head he had pointed at. She breathed with the taps. The heat pushed at her like a hand on her chest. Sweat stung her eyes. She did not blink. She did not stop. Arav followed, one body length behind, tapping, counting. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. Halfway across, a vent below them coughed and spat a white jet of steam. The beam shook. Tala froze. Her foot slid a hair. The shaft below waited like a mouth. Do not move, Arav said, voice a wire. He pressed one hand to the beam. He felt the vents cycle. 3 short breaths. One long, then quiet. On the quiet, he said. We go on the quiet. Ready. Now, they moved on the quiet. The beam steadied. The vent slept again. They reached the far side. Tala exhaled a laugh that was not a laugh. I will never tell anyone that I was afraid, she said. Good, Arav said. They will think we were born for this. They climbed to the 3rd ring, a cramped ledge with old paint and fresh scorch marks. There, at the yellow-striped junction, sat the 2nd device, bigger than the first, armored in black plates, wired into the manual lever with braided line. A tiny red eye watched them, bright and patient. Tala's voice fell to a whisper. If we pull the lever, it explodes. If we do not, the core runs, Arav said. Both are bad. One is worse, he knelt. He did not touch the bomb. He touched the metal beside it. He felt the heat. He counted 5 heartbeats. He looked at the braided line with a lover's attention. He smiled, small and tired. Dumb brain again, he said. It likes simple answers. He took the multi-tool and the last clean tape strip. He made a loop and a hook. He pressed the hook under the braid without lifting it. He taped the hook to the junction housing, not to the bomb. He nodded. When I say lift, you lift the lever 1 finger, only one. If the bomb thinks the lever moved, it wakes. If it thinks the world moved under the lever, maybe it sleeps. That is a lot of maybes, Tala said. Welcome to engineering, Arav said. The AI returned, voice thin as thread. Core temperature rising. New event, coolant cavitation. Predictive spike in 180 seconds. Tala's eyes widened. We have 2 clocks. 120 for the bomb, Arav said. 180 for the core. Which do we fight first? Arav looked at the lever, at the bomb's red eye, at the glow below, at the thin beam they had crossed. He listened to the tremble in the metal and the tremble in his own bones. He tapped the floor once, twice like a judge with a small hammer. We fight both, he said, with rhythm. He put his hand on the hook he had made. He met Tala's eyes. No speech, no comfort. Only a plan. On my count, he said. Lift, 1 finger on 6. The shaft answered with its slow, deadly beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They breathed together. 6, and then the whole shaft roared, as if the station itself woke up angry. The red eye on the bomb brightened. The floor under their boots shuddered hard enough to steal balance. From somewhere above, a metal scream, a support bolt sheared. The narrow beam they had crossed quivered like a struck string, and far away, in the main hall, Keth raised his hand to his guards at last. The beam behind them shook like a string in a storm. A bolt fell, spinning into the red glow below. The bomb's eye looked brighter, hungrier. Arav kept his hand on the hook he had made. Hold, he told Tala. Hold your breath. Hold your fear. The AI whispered through broken speakers. Bomb timer, 90 seconds. Core spike 150. 2 clocks. 2 ends. Arav looked at the braided line again. He changed nothing. He changed his mind. New plan, he said. We give the bomb a false world. How? Tala asked. We move the lever a hair, but we also move the junction housing the other way at the same time. Net change 0. The dumb brain sleeps. He touched the taped hook. This pulls the housing. Your finger lifts the lever. Small, gentle, together. Tala nodded once. On 6? On 6. They counted with the tremor in the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Arav said. Tala lifted the lever the weight of a butterfly. Arav pulled the hook the weight of a breath. The red eye did not flare. It blinked, thinking slow thoughts. The braided line hummed but did not sing. Again, Arav said. They matched the rhythm. Tiny lift, tiny pull. The lever rose to the safe notch. The housing slid to lie about it. The AI spoke, surprised and proud. Manual path mimicked. Bomb state unchanged. Arav allowed himself one small smile. Hello, dumb brain, he whispered. Tala let out the air she had held too long. We can open the real liver now? Not yet, he said. We must move the world one more time. He reached behind the junction and loosened a rusted brace with the multi-tool. The brace groaned. Heat bit his fingers. The brace shifted a hair. Enough to make the bomb think nothing had happened at all. Now, Arav said. Lift to the mark. They moved together. The lever clicked into the manual safety mark. For one heartbeat, the bomb's eye went blank. Then it woke and blinked twice, angry it had missed something. The AI cut in, voice sharper, bomb timer 70 seconds. Core spike 120. Coolant flow requires reroute choice. Define choice, Arav said. Option A, route coolant to command deck first. Command crew safe. Refugee wing unstable for 4 minutes. Option B, route coolant to refugee wing first. Refugee wing safe. Command deck unstable for 4 minutes. Tala looked at him. We cannot do both first. No, Arav said. We choose. His face did not change, but his eyes carried weight. The speaker above them crackled to life with a new voice. Keth's voice, smooth and cold. Human engineer, he said. I authorize option A. Save command. Arav stared at the speaker as if he could see Keth's face through it. Who gave you the code to speak through the shaft? I gave it to myself, Keth said mild. Choose well. Tala's jaw tightened. He locked doors. He planted bombs. He now asks you to save him first, Arav spoke to the AI. Casualty estimate. Option A. Option A, projected loss, high in refugee wing. Option B, projected loss, low in refugee wing, medium in command. Probability improves if manual lever is set now. He looked down through the heat haze at the red heart of the station. He saw in his mind a hallway of families. He saw in memory a narrow room on Earth with 5 people at one small table and a single fan. He heard a sentence he had said before when no one listened. Protect our own. Then protect the rest. He spoke it again, calm. Protect our own. Then protect the rest. He put his hand on the real lever. Option B, he told the AI. Refugee wing first. Keth's voice sharpened. Denied. A second later. Override. Keth Alpha. Route to command. The junction lights flickered, confused by 2 orders. Arav did not argue with the voice. He put muscle into the lever. The metal screamed, old paint cracking under his palm. The bomb's eye watched, lazy and slow, still fooled by the shifted brace and the lying hook. Tala braced her shoulder against the housing and pushed with him. Together, she said. Together, he answered. The lever moved. 1 notch, 2. The coolant path to the refugee wing opened like a cold river finding its bed. The AI announced it in a voice that almost smiled. Coolant priority, refugee wing. Temperature dropping. In the distance, far above the shaft, there were sounds like rain, steam turning to water against cold pipes. Then came a sound better than rain, children crying because fear was leaving. Keth's voice went knife cold. Arrest him. Up in the main hall, boots moved. Rifles rose. people shouted. The medic's counting broke, then returned, now loud and hard. In, 1, 2, 3, 4, out, 1, 2, 3, 4. The AI whispered, urgent. Bomb timer, 40 seconds. Course bike, 90. Tala's eyes met Arav's. Next step? Now we save the rest, he said. We route to command, after the bomb sleeps. How do we make it sleep? Arav looked at the red eye, at the braid, at the world he had moved. We feed it a dream, he said. He pulled a thin strip of foil from the bottom of his bag. Hardly anything. He folded it into a tight V and slid it into the gap between two contacts on the bomb's watch plate. It did not short, it lied. It told the dumb brain the lever had not moved, would never move, had never been born. The eye dimmed. It did not die. It dulled to a drunk stare. Timer? Arav asked. 30 seconds, the AI said. Warning. Keth's forces advancing on civilians. Of course they are, Tala said, anger hot in her mouth. Then we finish fast, Arav said. He put both hands on the lever to route coolant to command. He paused. He listened to the tremor rhythm again. 6 beats. 1 blink. 6 beats. 1 blind blink where the world can change and the bomb will not notice. On the blink, he said. We move everything. They counted with the bone-deep beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blink, Arav said. They shoved. The lever slammed into place for command. The junction shifted the other way the same moment. The foil kept the lie sweet. The red eye stayed dull. The AI shouted, bright now. Coolant balanced. Refugee wing safe. Command deck cooling, Tala laughed, a short, fierce sound. We did it, the bomb answered for itself. Its eyes snapped awake. It had learned one new thought. Something changed. Bomb timer 15, the AI warned. Arming state fluctuating. Of course it did, Arav said softly. Proud toys learn the wrong lessons. He grabbed the braided line with his wrapped hand, found the load point, and cut one single thread with the quietest snip the multi-tool could make. The braid did not fall apart. It sagged the weight of a heartbeat. The eye blinked, lost the path, found nothing to love. Bomb timer 10-9. Arav looked at Tala. We walk back on the beam, he said. Slow. Sure, we do not run from math. Above, in the main hall, a rifle barked. A scream followed, short, shocked. The medic's counting turned into a shout. Shield! Shields up! Keth spoke over the system, a soft purr over chaos. Bring me the human, alive. Tala touched Arav's arm. They will take you. They will try, he said. The AI's voice became a drum. 5, 4, 3. Arav and Tala stepped onto the thin beam again. The shaft breathed hot wind up their faces. The beam hummed, tired and angry. The red glow spun like a slow storm far below. 2. Arav tapped the beam with his tool. Tap, tap, their metronome against fear. 1. The bomb did not explode. It clicked. It went dark. Silence fell in the deep like a held breath. Then, from the corridor above, came a new sound, metal on metal, boots in sync, the march of many. Keth's last order slid through the air like ice. Seize the engineer. If anyone stands in the way, remove them. Arav looked at the beam, at the distance left, at the faces he could not yet see. We do not run, he said. We choose again, and somewhere above, the first civilian raised a piece of broken crate and shouted back. They reached the bulkhead gap. The metal strut still held, bent like a tired arm. Heat poured through like breath from a furnace. On the far side, the crowd had changed. No more lost eyes. No more silent panic. People stood shoulder to shoulder, a rough shield wall of workers, traders, parents, old soldiers without armor. At the front stood the medic with her case and the dock worker in the orange jacket. Their hands shook, but they did not move back. Keth's soldiers advanced in a gray line. Helmets down, rifles up. Boots in step! Stand aside, the first soldier barked. The medic lifted her chin. No, the soldier laughed. We are trained. Us too, Orange Jacket said. Today, Arav and Tala slipped through the gap. Ash streaked their faces. Tape wrapped their fingers. Their eyes were bright and steady. The crowd parted to let them through, then closed again, tighter than before. The wall breathed as one. Keth watched from a high stair, calm, hands behind his back. He looked at Arav like a man looks at a puzzle he cannot quite solve. The station AI spoke, voice thin but clear. Core report. Primary bomb neutralized. Coolant balanced. Fault remains. Manual purge valve jammed in burn shaft. Risk high. Time to instability if not purged. 90 seconds. 90 seconds. Arav turned to the crowd so all could hear. He did not shout. He spoke in the same calm voice he had used since the first insult. "We follow the human rule," he said. "Protect our own, then protect the rest." The words moved through the hall like a current. People repeated them under their breath without knowing they did. He pointed to the corridor that led to the burn shaft. "There is a lever inside. The AI cannot reach it. A person can? Heat is severe. The door is heavy. One goes in. One holds the door. Others keep the path clear. I will go," Tala said at once. Arav shook his head. "I need your hands out here. If I fail, you finish." Orange Jacket stepped forward. "Let me—" "You hold the valve," Arav said. "Only you know its weight." The medic opened her mouth. "You keep heart steady," Arav told her. "You count. You breathe. You remind them we are one machine." Keth's voice came soft over the speakers. "Touch that door and I end the negotiation. Engineers are useful. Dead ones are not." Arav looked up at him. "We are not negotiating." Keth's smile did not change. Two fingers twitched. His soldiers lowered rifles a hair, then lifted them again. They were waiting for a reason to fire. Arav faced the wall of people. "Form two lines," he said. "Make a clear path from this gap to the burn shaft door. No pushing. Hands out. If you see someone fall, lift them. If you hear close, you close. If you hear open, you open." Simple words. Simple jobs. They moved, fast and clean. The wall became a lane. "Medic," Arav said, "give me the count." "Same as before?" She nodded, voice already finding its steady beat. "In 1, 2, 3, 4. Out 1, 2, 3, 4. Arav took one last tool from his bag. A small wedge of black ceramic. Heat-proof, ugly, perfect. He slipped it into his pocket. He strapped the tiny collar light tight. Tala touched his shoulder. "You come back," she said. "No question." A promise said backward. "If I do not," he said, "finish the plan." She almost smiled. "I hate your plans." "They work," he said. Keth's soldiers stepped forward again. 2 paces, 3. Rifles lined with the path. Arav raised one hand. "Stop." They stopped. Not because he ordered them. Because the front row of civilians took one small step forward in the same breath. The lane stayed open. The wall grew closer. Arav met the eyes behind the nearest helmet. He spoke softly, just for that one person. "Put the rifle down. Help hold the door. That's real work." The soldier froze. Something moved behind the glass of his visor. A thought, a memory. Then the barrel dipped a finger's width before jerking up again under Keth's stare. The AI spoke. 60 seconds to instability. No more words. Arav ran. The lane held. Hands reached to keep him upright, then let him go. He arrived at the burn shaft door, round, scarred, angry with heat. Tala arrived with him. "Of course she did. On my mark," Arav said. "You lift the bar." I slide the wedge. "Door stays a hand open. Only a hand. If it opens more, heat eats us both." "Understood," Tala said. "Medic," Arav called. "Count." In 1, 2, 3, 4. "Out 1, 2, 3, 4. "On the out," he said. They moved on the out-breath. Tala drove her shoulder under the release bar and heaved. The door jerked. Heat blasted their faces. Skin screamed. Arav shoved the ceramic wedge into the lower track. The door bit it and stopped with a gap wide enough for an arm and a promise. Air roared out of the shaft in a white, angry wind. 45, the AI said. Arav leaned into the opening. Smoke clawed his throat. Through the glare, he saw it. The purge lever, 20 paces in, past 2 bent pipes and a floor half-eaten by rust. The path was narrow. The heat was a physical body. "Hold," he told Tala. If the wedge slips, push the bar down and run. And leave you? She said. To finish the plan, he said. He looked back once at the crowd. At the wall, at Orange Jacket on the valve, teeth bared with effort. At the medic, breath steady, eyes wet but unbroken. At Keth, high and alone, even in a crowd, smile thin as wire. Protect our own, Arav said again. Then protect the rest. He went in. The heat hit like a shove. The floor burned his soles. His collar light made a small island in a red sea. He moved low, one hand on pipe, one hand in front, counting steps with the medic's far voice. In 1, 2, 3, 4. He reached the first bent pipe, slid under. Skin scraped. He smelled hair singe. He did not stop. Out 1, 2, 3, 4. He reached the second bend. A jet of white steam spat from a crack, savage and sudden. He waited for the vent's rhythm. 3 quick breaths, 1 long. The old music again. He moved on the quiet. 30, the AI said. He saw the lever at last. It was fused halfway to open. A black lump of melted metal held it like a claw. Arav took the multi-tool. Metal was useless here. He pulled the ceramic wedge from his pocket with burned fingers. He slid it under the lever's claw, tiny millimeter by tiny millimeter. Outside, the lane shuddered as Keth's line pushed 3 steps. The wall pushed back 3 steps more. Someone shouted. A rifle cracked. A warning shot burned the ceiling and showered sparks. No one ran. 20, the AI said. Tala's voice reached in, thin and fierce. You have this. You always had this. Arav set the wedge. He put both hands on the lever and felt the station like a living thing. He pushed. The lever did not move. He pushed again. Bones screamed. The lever shifted the width of a breath. 15. He hooked his elbow against the pipe and used his whole body. The lever crept. The ceramic wedge took the bite. A flake of melted metal snapped free and fell, glowing to the grated floor. 10. He pushed with everything. The lever slammed home. A sound moved through the station like winter returning, coolant roaring, steam turning to rain, pipes singing in low relief. The AI tried to speak and almost sounded happy. Manual purge engaged. Core temperature falling. Stability path. The door jerked. The wedge slipped. Heat leaped. The bar in Tala's arms bucked like a living thing. 5! The AI cried. Tala roared and threw her weight down to hold the bar. The gap shrank to the size of a fist. Arav! She shouted. Out! He turned toward the door. The air went white. Shapes moved in that white. Tala's arm. The bar. A soldier stepping closer, the medic lifting her case like a shield. Orange Jacket screaming wordless and brave, and high above, Keth touched his wrist console with 2 slow fingers. The burn shaft door groaned like a beast. Metal screamed. The wedge spun out, red and useless. The gap closed to a knife edge. Arav ran. The gap was a knife. Heat pushed out like a living wall. Arav ran. Tala held the bar with both arms. Her boots slipped. Her teeth showed. The door fought to close. The ceramic wedge lay red and useless on the floor. 3! The AI cried. Arav dropped low and slid. His shoulder hit the frame. Skin tore. He shoved both hands through first, then his head, then one knee. The door bit his back. Tala screamed and put her whole body under the bar. The metal crushed down. The gap widened the size of a breath. 2! Hands reached from the crowd, Orange Jacket, the medic, strangers now brothers, and grabbed Arav's wrists. They pulled, he pushed. The door howled. 1! He tore free. The door slammed. The blast of heat shook the wall and died away like a storm leaving. Arav lay on the metal grate. He coughed. Smoke left his mouth in thin gray ribbons. Tala fell beside him, breath sharp, arms trembling. The crowd roared, not joy, not yet. Relief that hurt like a bruise. The AI spoke with a voice that finally sounded sure. Core stable. Reactor safe. Manual purge complete. A sound followed the words. Rain inside pipes. Then the sweet, small drip of water from cooling metal. People laughed and cried in the same breath. Arav sat up. His jacket was burned. His hands were raw. His eyes were steady. Across the hall, Keth did not clap. He did not speak. He stood on the stair, one hand on the rail, the other on his wrist console. His soldiers looked to him. They waited for his orders the way a tide waits for the moon. Arav stood. Tala stood with him. He faced the crowd, and then he faced Keth. "We are safe," he said. "But safety is not the end. Truth is—" Keth tilted his head, the way a predator looks at a new kind of prey. "Truth?" he said. "Truth is that I let you live." The medic lifted her chin. "He saved all of us." Keth's smile was thin as a blade. "He saved who he chose to save first. A sentimental, primitive choice." Tala's voice cut his like a wire. "You locked doors. You planted charges. You almost killed children." Gasps moved through the hall. Some soldiers shifted their feet. Their rifles wavered. Keth opened his hand as if to show it was empty. "You have no proof." A quiet beep came from the ceiling. The AI spoke, cold and clean. Statement, "I have proof." Every eye turned up. "Security logs unlocked," the AI said. "Authority code Keth Alpha inserted at Aero 913. Lockdown triggered from Warlord Keth's console. Explosive authorized token traced to the same console at Aero 902. Keth's jaw moved once. Only once. "Would you like me to play the audio?" the AI asked. Keth lifted his wrist to cut the feed. Tala was faster. She pulled a cord from her pilot jacket and jammed it into a wall port. "AI," she said, "broadcast station-wide. Link to emergency channel. Record to 10 nearby ships. Copy to open net." "Broadcasting," the AI said. Keth's soldiers looked up as the speakers bled Keth's own voice back at them. "Contain risk. Panic is useful when I hold the key." Silence fell. You could hear the last drops of steam turn to water and fall. You could hear hearts choose. One soldier took off his helmet. His hair was wet with sweat. He looked at Keth and then at the crowd and then at his own hands. He lowered his rifle. Others saw him and did the same. "Not all." "Enough." Keth's face did not break. He walked down 2 steps, then 2 more, smooth and slow. "One station," he said. "One small stage. The galaxy is larger than this. You cannot win the larger." Arav's voice was soft, even now. "You said we are primitive." Keth's eyes flashed. "Yes," Arav nodded once. "Prove it!" The words slid across the hall and stuck. They had weight. They were a test. Keth's hand moved toward his belt. A knife slept there, short and wicked. He did not draw it. Not yet. Civilians closed ranks. Orange Jacket stepped to the front with 2 others, arms linked. The medic lifted her case like a shield again. Tala stood beside Arav, shoulders squared, eyes bright and hard. Arav took 1 step forward. He did not reach for any weapon. He held up his burned, empty hands. "Here is my proof," he said. "We do not kill when we can build. We do not conquer when we can fix. And when someone harms our own, we stand between harm and the next breath." He looked at the soldiers, not at their rifles. "Put them down. Help us hold the door for a change. Choose to be builders." The soldier without the helmet took a breath that hurt. He set his rifle on the floor and kicked it back behind him. He stepped into the line of civilians. He looked taller without the gun. A quiet sound moved through the hall. Metal on metal, 1 weapon at a time, set down by hands that still shook. Others did not. Others clutched harder. Keth saw it, the tide turning without him. He finally drew the knife. The blade flashed a mean light. Tala stepped in front of Arav. Arav pulled her back with 1 hand, gentle. "No," he said. "We do not give him the ending he wants." Keth laughed once. It sounded tired. "You think I want a duel?" "You want a story where you kill the hero," Arav said. "That is a simple story." "We are not simple." Keth moved fast anyway. 2 steps, blade up, a cut for the throat. A hand caught his wrist, not Arav's, Orange Jacket's. He had moved without thought, the way a man moves to catch a falling child. He held Keth's knife hand with both of his and did not let go. Keth slammed his elbow back and broke the man's lip. Blood came. The hands did not open. Tala kicked the knife. It spun across the floor and clanged against the wall. Keth wrenched free. He grabbed for his wrist console. Arav reached it first. He pressed 1 burned thumb to the glass. "AI," he said, "lock this device." "Device locked," the AI said. "Owner authentication revoked." Keth froze like a statue that has just noticed it is stone. The hall did not cheer. Not yet. It waited. Arav looked at Keth, not angry, not proud. Just clear. You said we are primitive. We used tape and rope and math and trust. We used hands. We used choice. We saved our own. Then we saved the rest. And we did it while you tried to make the world small. He turned so everyone could hear. We are not small. Keth's mouth opened. Nothing came out. The AI spoke one last time, voice even and final. Authority transferred to Station Council. Warlord Keth is under arrest for sabotage and attempted mass harm. 2 soldiers, the ones who had set down their guns, stepped forward. They did not beat Keth. They did not shout. They put simple cuffs on his wrists and walked him away. The crowd exhaled as a single body. The sound was soft. It was also strong. Tala leaned on the wall and finally let herself smile, tired, real. You came back, she said to Arav. I said I would, he said. The medic wiped her eyes. Orange Jacket spat blood and grinned. Someone laughed, this time without fear. The hall filled with the normal noise of life returning, the best music of all. A beeping started again. Not an alarm. A message chime. AI? Arav asked. External signal, the AI said. Multiple stations requesting repair support. Same faults, same pattern, same proud fingerprints. Tala's smile changed into something bright and dangerous. He was not alone. No, Arav said. He looked at his burned hands. He flexed his fingers. Good, we have work. He turned to the people, his people for now. Rest, drink water, hold each other. Then we fix the next thing. He looked once where Keth had stood and now was not. He did not say thank you or goodbye. He said the line that had carried them through fire and fear. Protect our own, Arav said. Then protect the rest. The station lights came back to full. The air was cool, almost gentle. The hall was wide and clear, and somewhere out in the dark, other stations listened. Other proud men listened. Other humans, too. The story moved ahead of them like light.